Have you noticed lately how much AI-generated content can feel,
Mm.
well, a bit generic?
Oh, definitely. It's everywhere.
Social media feeds, blogs,
hmm
it's often flooded with this kind of digital sameness.
Yeah.
It all just sounds so alike.
Yeah, kind of like AI music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if there was, a strategic advantage?
Mm.
A way to actually break free from that mediocrity
Mm.
and make AI outputs not just interesting, but actually profitable and scalable for your business.
Right. Moving beyond just playing around with it.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to unpack that powerful technique, JSON prompting.
Ah, yes. The good stuff.
And this isn't just some clever trick, right? It feels like a fundamental shift in how we talk to these intelligent systems for real business impact.
That's exactly it. We'll dive into why AI results can be so inconsistent, first off.
Okay.
Then explain what JSON actually is and why it's so different from those traditional prompts most people are using.
Yeah, the conversational ones.
Yeah. Then we'll get into some real-world business models that are actually powered by this structured approach.
Oh, cool.
We'll even walk you through let's say, the logic of creating your first JSON prompt. It's not as scary as it looks.
Good to know.
And then, crucially, how to test these things rigorously, how to improve them, and maybe the most important part, the pitfalls to avoid, the things that'll trip you up.
Okay. So our mission today is really to shortcut your understanding of this method because it feels like a genuine game changer for building, profitable, defensible businesses with AI.
It really can be.
Okay, let's unpack this. So starting with this sea of sameness in AI content, it's a real challenge, isn't it?
It really is. The internet is just, brimming with low-quality templated stuff, articles, videos, images.
And so much of it looks and sounds the same. And you're saying it's because millions are just using really basic prompting.
Pretty much. They're using simple techniques. Our source material actually poses this fascinating question. When you prompt an AI, are you a poet or an engineer?
Poet or engineer? So, okay, what's the difference?
Well, the poet uses creative conversational language, descriptive.
Like talking to a person.
Exactly. But the engineer, they're all about highly structured, data-like formats. Very precise.
Oh, okay. And the source also mentioned a debater and a gambler.
Yeah. The debater is that endless back and forth trying to negotiate a better result.
I think we've all been there.
Oh, yeah. And the gambler just types something in and, hopes for the best. Crosses their fingers.
Right. So how does this connect to the results?
Well, the harsh reality is if you're still using a simple conversational prompt like, write an article about plants, you're competing with millions getting those same generic results. Your content just gets lost in the noise. It doesn't stand out.
Because the instructions are too vague.
Exactly. A prompt is just the instructions you give to an AI, right?
Yeah.
If your instructions are vague, your output's going to be vague. Garbage in, maybe not garbage out, but generic out.
So if these basic prompts lead to this undifferentiated kind of junk content, what's the fundamental shift JSON brings?
JSON prompts provide a detailed blueprint for consistent, high-quality AI output.
A blueprint. I like that. Okay, so what is this powerful format? Tell us about JSON.
Okay, so JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Fancy name, but it's basically just a standardized way to organize data, really clean, really structured.
So instead of talking to it conversationally.
Right. Instead of those vague prompts, you give the AI this detailed blueprint. It tells the AI exactly what to do, how to structure the output, and what rules it needs to follow.
Okay, got it.
Think of it like this. The chef analogy is great here. A regular prompt, that's like telling a chef, hey, cook me dinner.
Right, could be anything.
Could be amazing, could be. Well, not so amazing. It's a gamble, right? You gave no real instructions. But a JSON prompt, that's like giving the chef a super detailed recipe, exact ingredients, precise measurements, step-by-step instructions.
Okay, so the result isn't a guess.
Not at all. It's predictable. It's high quality. Every single time. Or at least much closer to every time.
And that's the core benefit then. Consistency and reliability.
Exactly.
Because that predictability is what lets you take some fun little AI tool and turn it into an actual profitable business that can scale up.
Precisely. That's the leap.
So when you compare them side by side, regular versus JSON prompting, the differences sound pretty stark.
They really are. Regular prompts. Often generic, inconsistent output. JSON. It's structured, it's predictable,
And scalability.
almost impossible to replicate consistently with regular prompts. But JSON, it's designed for reuse. You just tweak the variables.
And for business applications.
Regular prompts are kind of limited, maybe for one-off brainstorming. JSON, though, that's the engine for tools, for APIs, for automated workflows. It's built for business process.
APIs. Just quickly, remind us what that is.
Oh, right. An API, application programming interface, it's just a way for different computer programs to talk to each other. It sends data back and forth in a structured way.
Gotcha. And cost efficiency. You mentioned JSON can actually be more efficient. That seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, it sounds like more work up front. But because the instructions are so compact and structured, you often use fewer resources, fewer tokens in AI terms over time. So those API calls can actually cost less, especially at scale.
Interesting.
So yeah, it all boils down to control. You stop being just a hopeful requester.
Crossing your fingers, yeah.
And you become more like a system architect. You're designing the output.
Okay, so why is this structured approach, this control, specifically valuable in modern business? Like, right now.
Because modern business runs on structured data, JSON lets AI speak that language.
That's a huge point. Everything is data.
It really is. It's like the universal language for computers now. Everything we interact with, words, images, customer behavior, even DNA, it can all be represented as data.
Wow.
And to truly work effectively with AI, you have to learn to speak this language. It's not optional anymore, not if you want serious results.
So the big tech companies get this already.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Amazon. They're betting multi-billions on structured data. They know it's the most valuable asset on the planet, arguably.
How are they using it?
Well, Netflix uses your viewing data, structured data, to decide which shows to make. Amazon uses purchasing data, structured data for recommendations. They've built entire empires on refining and acting on structured data.
So data is the new oil.
Mm-hmm.
But structured data is the refined fuel. Is that a fair way to put it?
That's a great analogy, yeah. And it suggests that maybe most businesses are still kind of stuck dealing with the crude oil stage when it comes to AI.
So where's the biggest bottleneck then in that refinement process, getting from crude idea to refined AI fuel?
Honestly, often it's the human element. It's taking those messy, unstructured human ideas and translating them into clean, calculable data that an AI can actually work with effectively.
It's a translation task.
It really is, and it becomes like a professional reflex. One expert we looked at said, if I ever used AI to get a really good result, I would take that result and turn it into a JSON prompt so I can get that again.
Ah, so capture the success, systematize it.
Exactly. Don't just get lucky once. Engineer it so you can repeat it.
Okay, this makes sense conceptually. But beyond the theory, what specific business models are actually using this JSON approach right now?
Businesses are using JSON for automated content, webinars, custom tools, and boosting efficiency. Lots of areas.
Right, so this isn't just theoretical pie-in-the-sky stuff. It's happening now.
Absolutely. It's very real. Think about, say, content as a service.
Okay.
Businesses are desperate for high-quality, consistent content. They know they need it, but often they don't know how to prompt effectively to get it.
So there's an opportunity there.
Huge opportunity. You can step in as their outsourced AI content strategist. You could sell libraries of pre-built, battle-tested JSON prompts for things like blog articles, social media posts, email sequences.
Okay.
Or you could offer done-for-you services, where you use your internal JSON systems to generate the content for them, or even license your systems out to agencies.
So you're selling the structured process, not just the end result.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just blog posts. We saw an example of an entrepreneur who had this webinar script, generated $14,000 in revenue in just a few hours. Pretty good.
Wow, that.
So what they did was deconstruct its winning formula, the hooks, the structure, the calls to action, and turned it into a detailed JSON prompt template.
Wow.
Now they can generate new high-converting webinar scripts basically on demand. Just change the variables for the product, the audience. Boom, new script.
That's that replication advantage you mentioned.
Yeah.
Extract the success, make it repeatable.
That's it. Scale the process with perfect consistency.
Wow.
Another huge area is building and selling API tools, sometimes called micro-SaaS, little software as a service tools.
What?
There's massive search volume online for simple AI tools. Think AI text generator, AI logo generator, AI summary tool. People will happily pay a small fee for a tool that solves one specific problem really well.
And you could build these with JSON prompts.
Yeah, you can build them yourself, often using no-code or low-code platforms like Bubble or Softar. You don't necessarily need to be a hardcore coder.
How did that work?
Well, first, you kind of deconstruct success. Analyze the best existing tools for a specific task. What makes them work?
Okay, reverse engineer.
Right. Then you engineer a master JSON prompt that replicates those results, maybe adds your own improvements. This prompt is the brain of your tool.
Got it.
Finally, you build a simple interface, a web page maybe. This interface takes the user's input, like their company name or the text they want summarized. It feeds that input into your master prompt via an API call to an AI like ChatGPT.
And the AI sends back the structured result.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The user gets their logo idea, their summary, whatever it is. Simple problem solved.
That's clever. And then there's business automation.
Yeah, high-value business automation. Think about small and medium businesses. Many are just drowning in repetitive manual tasks.
Like what?
Sorting customer emails, summarizing long reports, drafting standard documents. Things that take up hours but don't necessarily require deep strategic thinking. They're actively looking for ways to automate this stuff.
So you can step in there too.
Definitely. You can become a business process automation consultant, a BPA consultant. Your core offering is building custom JSON prompt systems tailored specifically to their workflows.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine a law firm. They get hundreds of emails a day. Someone has to read each one, figure out who it's from, what it's about, which case it relates to, how urgent it is.
Yeah.
It takes hours.
Yeah, I can see that.
You could build a system with a JSON prompt. It analyzes each incoming email, extracts the key info, client name, case type, urgency level, maybe even summarizes the main point, and categorizes it automatically.
That would save a ton of time.
Dozens of hours per week, easily, maybe more. So you're not just selling, content generation, you're selling raw efficiency. And that's incredibly valuable to businesses.
Whoa. Imagine scaling that law firm example, like automating thousands of hours across an entire industry. The sheer volume of manual work out there that could potentially be transformed.
Yeah.
It's kind of immense when you think about it.
It really is. The potential is huge. So beyond just getting better output, what do you think is the deeper cognitive shift here? What really changes for someone who embraces this?
Got to be about thinking differently, right?
Yeah.
Thinking in terms of data and systems, almost like the AI itself does.
Yeah, exactly. That's the core of it.
You've really hit on the most important transformation there. It's mental. Mastering JSON, it forces you to stop thinking in these vague sentences and start thinking the way an AI actually thinks, or at least processes information in terms of data, rules, and systems.
And this systematic approach, it gives your business or your projects like 5 superpowers.
Ooh, superpowers. Okay, what are they?
All right, first, consistency. Your results become predictable, reliable, no more guesswork. Second, scalability. Your systems can work at pretty much any volume without a drop in quality. 1 request or 1 million, the process holds.
Crucial for growth.
Third, efficiency. You generally get faster results and, like we said, potentially lower API costs over the long run.
Good.
Fourth, professionalism. Your output can be designed to automatically match industry best practices or specific formatting requirements.
Okay, and fifth?
A competitive moat. Your unique, systematic approach, the specific way you've structured your JSON prompts. That's incredibly difficult for competitors to just copy. It becomes a real asset.
A defensible advantage.
Precisely. An expert in the field really underscored this, saying, in the age of AI, you gotta understand this because that's going to give you the leg up. It's about differentiation.
So the real upgrade isn't just the prompt, it's thinking like a computer. It upgrades your brain's operating system, maybe.
Huh. I like that. Yeah, it moves you from traditional kind of vague thinking to structured systems thinking. So traditional thinking is like, write me something good about elephants.
Okay, very poet-like.
Right. But systems thinking is more like, generate content about elephants that follows this proven engagement pattern, includes these specific structural elements like a hook and key facts, uses this tone, and is designed to achieve this measurable outcome like click-through rate.
Much more engineer-like.
Yeah.
Much more specific.
Exactly. So this isn't just about writing better prompts for ChatGPT. It's about learning how to communicate effectively with any complex automated system. It's a fundamental skill for the future.
This all sounds incredibly powerful. But for someone new to this, what's the most common mental block, or maybe the biggest hurdle they'll face when trying to actually adopt this new way of thinking?
I think many people get stuck seeing JSON and thinking it looks like code, like programming, and that can be intimidating. The real challenge is shifting your view, seeing it not as code, but just as highly organized instructions, like a very, very detailed recipe.
Okay, just structured instructions. I know JSON can look a bit intimidating at first glance, with all those curly braces and commas and quotes.
Yeah, the syntax can seem weird.
But you're right. If you think of it as just organizing your instructions clearly, maybe it's less daunting.
Exactly. Let's maybe walk through the logic of creating one. Say, for writing a high-converting product description, how would you approach that systematically?
Okay, good example.
All right, step 1. Define your goal clearly and be specific. Don't just say, write a description.
Right, too vague.
A much better goal is something like, generate a persuasive product description that must include a catchy title, a list of 3-5 key features, a list of 2-3 emotional benefits, and a strong call to action. See the difference?
Yeah, much clearer. It has requirement.
Exactly. Step 2, break your goal into logical sections. Think like that computer again. What are the core data fields you need the AI to understand or fill in?
Okay, so for the product description, maybe the product name itself.
Yep, product name. What else?
Who it's for. The target audience.
Good one.
Oh.
Target audience. We mentioned key features. Maybe specify that as a list.
Right, so key features as a list, and emotional benefits also as a list.
Perfect. Maybe tone of voice, like playful or professional, and definitely the call to action.
Okay, so these become like categories for our instruction.
Exactly right. Then, step 3, you actually write your JSON structure using these categories. You format them using keys. That's the label, like product name in quotes, and values, which are your specific instructions or the variables the user will input.
So it looks kind of like a structured form.
That's a great way to think about it. You're telling the AI, here's a field for the product name, fill this in, here's a list for features, populate this, here's another list for benefits, use this specific tone. You're building a very precise questionnaire for the AI.
Okay, that makes sense. What's next?
Step 4. You have to instruct the AI to use your structure. You got to be explicit about it.
You can't just assume it knows.
Nope. You literally tell the AI something like, based on the following JSON object containing product details and instructions, generate the product description. Your response must also be in a valid JSON format using a single key called product description, which contains the full text.
So you tell it how to respond too. Why is that important?
It ensures the AI uses your input correctly and gives you clean, predictable output that another system, like your website, can easily understand and use. No weird formatting issues.
Got it. Structured input, structured output.
Bingo. And finally, step 5, reuse, repurpose, and build your library. Once you have a JSON prompt that works well.
Don't just use it once.
Exactly. It's a reusable asset. Swap out the variables product name, features for different products, tweak the tone of voice for different marketing campaigns or niches.
So you capture the successful structure.
Capture it in JSON and reuse it. Build up that library of proven prompts.
You know, I have to admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself sometimes, even using JSON.
Oh, yeah. What's prompt drift again?
That's when, an AI's output kind of subtly shifts or deviates over time, even if you're using the exact same prompt you used last week. The model updates, things change.
Right, it's not always perfectly static.
Yeah. So keeping it consistent, even with JSON, it's definitely a continuous process of monitoring and tweaking. It's not always set and forget.
That's a really good point. Maintenance is key.
Can you give us maybe a full concrete example of a more complex system built this way, something beyond just a product description?
Absolutely. Let's think about that AI logo generator system we mentioned earlier. How you could reverse engineer design principles to build it.
Okay, the logo generator. Let's dive into that.
Okay, so the core idea behind an AI logo generator system built with JSON is kind of like reverse engineering a masterpiece painting.
How so?
Well, you first study the techniques of the great masters, in this case, great logo designers. You figure out why their work is effective. Then you create detailed instructions based on those techniques. And finally, you build a robot painter, your AI system, to execute those instructions.
Okay, so step 1 is studying the masters.
Yeah.
The research.
Exactly. So step 1 is the research phase. Think of it as your art history phase for logos. You start with a specific research prompt.
A prompt just for research.
Yeah. You'd ask the AI to analyze, say, 100 successful logos across different industries. Look for common patterns in color schemes, font styles, shape simplicity, how well they fit the industry, memorability. And you'd ask it to output those key patterns in a structured way, maybe even JSON.
So you're using AI to figure out what makes a great logo in general.
Precisely. You're extracting the design principles.
Okay, then step 2 must be building the actual generator prompt.
Yep. Step 2, the system creation. Writing the master prompt. You take all those insights from your research phase, those principles, and you use them to build a really sophisticated logo generator JSON prompt. This prompt would take simple variables from the user, like their company name and industry,
Okay.
but it would apply fixed rules based on your research. Things like appropriate color psychology for that industry, guidelines on font pairing, principles of shape and simplicity. So you'd find keys like task, company name, industry, maybe preferred style. And then crucially, you'd include sections like color psychology rules and design principles that contain the distilled wisdom from your research phase. The AI must follow these rules.
So the user gives simple input, but the prompt applies complex expert rules.
That's the magic. And then step 3 is the implementation, building the actual robot painter.
The tool itself.
Right. You create a simple web tool, maybe using Bubble or Softer like we mentioned, just a couple of input fields, company name, industry.
Okay.
When the user hits generate, the tool sends your master JSON prompt filled with their input and your embedded rules to an AI API like ChatGPT.
And the API sends back.
It sends back maybe several professional-looking logo concepts, potentially a design rationale explaining why certain choices were made based on the rules, and maybe even usage guidelines for the new brand. All structured, ready to display.
Wow, that's a pretty sophisticated system built on that structured prompting idea.
Hmm.
But how do you make sure these powerful systems actually work reliably? That they don't just break or give weird results sometimes.
Ugh, the million-dollar question. You have to battle test them rigorously, consistently. And then you keep refining them. It never really stops.
Battle test. I like that. So it's not enough just to write the prompt.
Absolutely not. A prompt that hasn't been rigorously tested, it's just a guess. It's a hypothesis. To build a reliable AI system, you must battle test your JSON prompts. Find their breaking points before your users do.
Okay. How do you do that? Is there a process?
Yeah, think of it as a continuous two-stage process. There's the initial stress testing and then the ongoing improvement.
Okay, let's start with the initial stress test.
Right. Our source suggests a neat three-part framework for that. First is the consistency test.
Makes sense.
Run the exact same prompt, same variables, at least 10 times. Measure the variation in the output. Are the results wildly different each time? If so, your prompt isn't constrained enough. You need to refine it, add more rules or structure until the output is reliably consistent.
Okay, test for consistency. What's second?
Second, the performance test. This is where you A/B test. Pit your shiny new JSON prompt against a traditional conversational one for the same task.
A direct comparison.
Yeah, and measure the real-world difference. Does the content generated by your JSON prompt get higher engagement, better click-through rates, higher conversion rates, whatever your metric is?
Okay.
Document those improvement percentages. Prove its value.
Okay, performance metrics. And third?
Third is the chaos monkey test. Fun name, right?
Yeah. What's that?
This is edge case testing. You intentionally try to break your prompt, feed it weird input, nonsensical variables, unexpected data types, things users might accidentally do.
Why?
And then make sure it handles errors gracefully. Does it give a helpful error message? Does it have a sensible fallback response? Or does it just crash? Or worse, give you completely bizarre, unusable output? You need to know how it fails.
Okay, consistency, performance, chaos monkey. That's the initial testing. What about the long game?
Right. The long game is continuous improvement. Your AI system is never truly finished because the AI models themselves are always evolving.
So like monthly reviews.
Yeah, something like that. Monthly reviews. Look at your analytics. Which prompts are performing best? Which ones are generating the most value? Find the patterns in your winners, the structural elements, the phrasing, and use those insights to update your entire prompt library. Level everything up.
In longer term.
Quarterly optimization. The AI landscape changes fast, new models come out, new features get added. So every quarter, you should probably test the latest AI models and capabilities. That state-of-the-art prompt you wrote 3 months ago, it might already be obsolete or inefficient compared to what's possible now.
Wow. Okay, so you need to archive underperforming prompts.
Yep. Archive the old ones, rebuild prompts to take advantage of new AI features. Keep it current.
It sounds like a lot of work, but necessary if you want a robust system. Now, you mentioned pitfalls earlier. Things that can kill your system.
Yes, the rookie mistakes. Think of them like things a beginner chef might mess up.
Okay, what's pitfall number 1?
Pitfall 1, the overly complicated recipe. This is trying to build incredibly elaborate, deeply nested JSON structures right from the start. You think more detail is always better, but...
It can confuse the AI.
Exactly. Sometimes simpler is better. The fix. Start simple. Get the basics working reliably. Then add complexity gradually, only when it's truly necessary to get the control you need.
Okay, start simple. What's next?
Pitfall 2, the hard-coded menu. This is where you hard code specific details like a particular product name or a date directly into the JSON prompts template itself.
Why is that bad?
Because it turns what should be a scalable, reusable template into a rigid one-off command. You can't easily adapt it. The fix. Always ask yourself, which parts of this need to be changeable variables and which parts are fixed rules? Clearly separate the flexible inputs from the fixed structure.
Makes sense. Keep templates flexible. Pitfall 3.
Pitfall 3. Serving an untasted dish. This is the big one, assuming your prompt works perfectly without actually testing it rigorously.
Just writing it and deploying it.
Yeah. Dangerous. The fix is obvious. That'll test every single prompt before you rely on it in a real system or for a client. Use that 3-part framework: consistency, performance, and the chaos monkey test. No excuses.
Test everything. Got it. And the last one.
Pitfall 4. Using last year's recipe book. This is related to the continuous improvement point. It's using the same prompts indefinitely while the underlying AI models are evolving at a breathtaking pace.
Sticking with what worked 6 months ago.
Right. That prompt you perfected for GPT-4 might be inefficient or suboptimal with GPT-5 or whatever comes next. The fix. Regularly review and update your prompt library. Treat it like a living document, not a stone tablet carved once and forgotten.
Okay, those are 4 really practical pitfalls to watch out for. So wrapping this up, what's the ultimate takeaway here for listeners really looking to thrive in this whole AI era?
I think it's this. The future belongs to the system builders. Those who can translate ideas, needs, and goals into structured data that AI can act upon reliably.
System builders,
Yeah.
not just prompt pinkers. That's a really powerful summary. It feels like the age of just casually typing random prompts, hoping for a good result.
Yeah.
That's shifting. Maybe it's already over for serious applications.
I think it is, yeah.
And JSON prompting isn't just some, hack. It feels more fundamental, like the bridge between those messy one-off outputs we all get sometimes and the structured, repeatable systems that actually form the backbone of real, defensible businesses using AI.
It truly is that bridge. When you learn to think like a computer, or at least communicate with it systematically using JSON, you stop wasting time and money on inconsistent results.
Right.
You start creating actual predictable value through repeatable workflows, reliable content pipelines, and those monetizable tools and services we talked about.
And the best part, maybe, is that a powerful JSON template becomes this asset, right? It works for you 24/7, churning out consistent quality.
Exactly. It's your strategic advantage. It's your shortcut to quality and maybe your way out of that junk content land.
So where is this heading? What's next for JSON prompting?
Well, looking ahead, I think we'll see JSON prompts starting to coordinate multimodal stuff: text, image, video, audio, all potentially within a single structured command. Imagine asking for a blog post and the accompanying social media images in one go.
Wow. Okay.
We'll probably also see more automated optimization.
Right.
Maybe AI systems that can fine-tune their own JSON prompts based on real-time performance data.
Whoa. AI optimizing AI prompts.
Yeah. And eventually, probably more industry standardization around these structured formats, making it easier for different AI systems and tools to talk to each other seamlessly.
Okay, so for listeners who want to get started, what's the essential toolkit? What do they need?
Well, obviously the AI platforms themselves. ChatGPT is great for text. Claude is strong on complex reasoning. Gemini has powerful multimodal capabilities. Pick the right tool for the job.
Right.
And then some basic development tools can be really helpful. Things like online JSON validators, just to quickly check if your syntax, your brackets, and commas are all correct. Saves a lot of headaches.
Good tip.
And maybe a simple code editor. Even something basic like VS Code or Notepad++, just to create, organize, and manage your library of JSON prompts more easily than using a plain text file.
Okay. And we should mention detailed examples of those JSON structures we discussed, like for the product description and logo generator, will be available in our show notes for people to look at.
Definitely worth checking out.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners. If you're serious about leveraging AI for profit, or even just for reliable results in your work, it really feels like it's time to stop just playing with prompts and start engineering systems.
Well said.
Because that's where the future is being built, isn't it? So the question for you is, what system could you start designing today?
Good question to ponder.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.